Okay, folks, second video here. What I want to do with this one is talk a little bit more about your project. The first thing to mention here is if you look at the point distribution for the course, there's a lot of emphasis here on your course project. It's about 30% of your grade. So this is a big deal, and I want to make sure that you understand what it's all about and how it fits into the course as a whole. The team assignments will be posted by Monday, the first day of class. I will email them to you. I'll post them in a bunch of different places, and that way there's no question about who you're going to be working with through the project. What I'm going to ask is that you please reach out to your classmates or to your teammates. There is a discussion board for the project in the course. And I would appreciate as much dialogue as possible being handled or using that forum so that I'm kind of tracking what's going on with each group as well. But I'm imploring you all to make sure that you get in touch with your teammates early and you sort of begin talking about your strategy for this project. After you get a little better understanding of what's going on. I'm also going to post a couple of at least one completed project. That way you can kind of take a look at it and understand it from an expectation standpoint. Let's see, what is the project all about? There's two submittals that we're going to work on for week 2. So after you get with your teammates and you kind of understand how things are going to work within the group, there's 2 things that I want you to do for week 2. The first one is an article summary. And this is very simple. What I want you to do as a group is I want you to find a single article that talks about a business, a company, any company's fine, your own company is fine. What I want you to do is I want you to find an article on a business that has identified a business problem. They have collected data, they have analyzed data, they've interpreted data. And what they've done is they've used that data and the analysis to develop strategy and implementation to address the business problem. And the reason for that is to show you, really to kind of walk you through the process that you all are going to take part in to complete your group project. So that is, one article from the group and then one 300-word summary posted on a discussion board in week 2. I only need one person from the group to post that after you have reviewed the article within your group and written your summary. The second thing that is going to be due during week 2 is the project roadmap. And this is going to quickly explain to me the company that you have chosen. It probably will not be the company that you did your article summary on, so there's no expectation for that. Company, the problem that they've identified, you're going to write a problem statement, then you're going to write a research question which says this is what we're going to do, or this is the question that we're going to try to answer in our analysis. You're going to discuss the key variables that you believe are relevant to your study and who is doing what. So that will be due during week 2. During week 5, so first of all, let me say this, between week 2 and week 5, there's not a lot going on with the project formally, but there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to ask you to do. During week 5, the first thing that we will get is, of substance is your data analysis report. This is going to be at the very least, some descriptive statistics on the data set that you have found to address your business problem. And what you're also going to be doing during weeks 3, 4, and 5 is you're going to be studying linear regression, forecasting, and data mining. And so during the week 5 data analysis report, there should also be some discussion of where do those techniques fit, where they may not fit in terms of your analysis. If one of those techniques does fit your data set and your business problem, I would expect to see some work done on regression or forecasting or data mining so that you're getting towards the end of the analysis at that point. And then you can move on to the strategy and implementation during week 6 and week 7. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then week 8 is the final report, and you'll also do a presentation. The one thing that I really want to make sure that I stress in this video is that after you have gone through and done your project roadmap, and you have an understanding of what sort of data you think you might need to address your business problem, it would be great if you have found that data set and you have developed that data set by the end of week 3 so that you can begin doing analysis as these techniques apply to your data set and your business problem. If you do not have data by the end of week 3, we need to be in touch and we need to talk about what we're going to do to get you a data set. But by the end of week 3, everybody should have a data set, and you should be focusing on what sort of analysis and what sort of tools will help you do the analysis on that data set to address your business problem and your research question. What I have done down here in the bottom is I've kind of thrown all of these deliverables in the 8 weeks of the course. And so weeks 1 through 5 are pretty much as we've talked about up here. Not much else to say. Really, where this begins to get really busy is the last 3 weeks of the course, because notice that you have 2 exams in the course, and they are both in the last 2 weeks of the course. This first test will cover weeks 3, 4, and 5, which again is going to be prescriptive analytics, and then the last 2 weeks of the course will cover predictive analytics, and you'll have a test on each. There is no test after the descriptive analytics or descriptive statistics block, whichever you want to call that. But again, the absolute premium for weeks 1 and 2, number one, make sure that your team is set, that you understand who's going to do what in terms of, the article summary, and then getting the project roadmap ready. Number 2, making sure that, again, whether you have or have not had a course in basic statistics, that you are going through those first 7 chapters and you're doing the best you can, to learn the basics of statistics, descriptive, probability, and inferential statistics in that first couple weeks. Because again, the course is tame from a mathematics and statistics standpoint if those disciplines are fairly fresh in your mind. But and I don't want to scare you off if they're not. But again, the more fluent you are in algebra and statistics, the better off you're going to be. And then also during weeks 1 and 2, some familiarity with Excel if you do not have that. The last piece of this, what I want to do is I'm going to give you a template for all of the submittals, which also serves as the template for the executive report. So what I want to do is I want to flip through this and show you what's in here, and then I think we'll be ready to go. After each submission during weeks, 2, 5, 6, and 7, you will submit your input through a Dropbox, and I'm going to have feedback for you. After each assignment, week 2, 5, 6, and 7, what I want you to do is I just want you to copy and paste my feedback into this or onto this page, and then briefly describe what you have done to address my question. What I want to note here is anything that you see in this template that is in bold and it is highlighted, those headings should not change. And this really should be the structure of the submittals, and again, what ultimately becomes your executive report. So just to make that point, everything that you do from a submission standpoint will fit into this single file. Please leave this file as it is with the headings and the line numbers. That way it's easiest for me to reference. When I have comments, I'll reference those by line number. The next page, ultimately you're probably going to have maybe 2 or 3 pages of feedback and response. How many ever pages, that's no big deal. The first page of the executive summary itself is going to be an APA formatted cover page. So if you're unfamiliar with the APA manual, you can take a look at that and figure out what the requirements are to format your cover page. The executive report itself has 5 sections, and again, the incremental submittals during weeks 2, 5, 6, and 7 will fit into one of these 5 sections, and I'll talk about that as I go through the review of the template here. But the very first thing that you will do during week 8 after you have finished up all your work and all your submittals is you're going to come back here and you're going to write an executive summary. And basically, the executive summary is everything that you've done in the following report summarized in 150 words. In the course and here in the course and in the rubrics, there are what I will call some guidelines on what the lengths of each submittal is. The only reason I say that is because I want to make sure that everybody understands that the focus here is quality, it's not quantity. So you can, the only place where the guideline is not a guideline and it's a hard number is right here in the executive summary. Executive summary should be no more than 150 words. But anything else that you see in terms of the incremental submittals during weeks 2, 5, 6, and 7, those are not hard and fast. If you need a little bit more space for your data analysis report, for example, I'm fine with that. But please don't include things that will distract you and distract me from helping you getting these tightened up by week 8. So section 1, executive summary. Section 2 is the introduction. And really what this is, and I put this in here, this is really the information from the roadmap. So it's going to be 2 paragraphs. The business problem, and then at the end of that first paragraph, it's going to be something in bold that I understand that's going to be the problem statement. And then the second paragraph is going to be a paragraph that sort of describes what it is that you as the group you're going to do. And then that's going to conclude with what we call a research question. What is it that you're trying to do with your analysis? And notice I've got a couple links here, how to write a problem statement. If you want to take a look at that, that might be helpful. And then the same thing here for research questions, or what is it that we're trying to solve and address from this analysis? And then the final input for the project roadmap is what are some of the variables that you think are going to be necessary or a value to include as you go through the study. And so what I want you to do is list, there probably will only be one dependent variable. There might be 3 or 4 or 5 independent variables, give them a name, and then describe them or define them so everybody's clear on what it is these variables mean in terms of the context of your project. And again, what this is effectively the project roadmap, but this will get tucked up under section 2 during when you're preparing your executive report. Section 3, data collection and analytical methods. Effectively, a summarized data set and some discussion about the analytical techniques that we've studied in weeks 3, 4, and 5. Those again being regression, forecasting, and data mining. And like I said, if you have found data and you found that forecasting is really the technique that you need, it answers the question that you need, or it takes advantage of the data that you have and allows you to answer the question or your research question, then I should see some forecast results in the, let's actually go to the next section. That would be in section 4. So let me just go back and make sure this is clear. What I want in section 3 and this is your week 5 submission, this should be a summary of your data and the analytical methods, where they fit in and where they don't fit in. Section 4 is the analysis. And like I said, if regression fits in or forecasting fits in, what I would expect to see in section 4 is some results from your whatever method that you've used and some interpretation and analysis of those. Because if you can do that after week 5, you're going to be in great shape to then go to week, let's see, this should be highlighted. Let me not lose track of that. I don't want you to change that. So one more time, just finishing up on the analysis. If you're doing anything in regression, forecasting, and data mining, we should see those results. And then section 5, which is really, part of this comes from week 6, part of it comes from week 7. What I want during week 6 is I want 2 strategic statements. All I'm looking for in week 6 are the company is going to do this. That's it. If you have 1 or 2 of those, that's great. So what has the data driven you to do? And then during week 7, you will come back and then you will fill in the details with maybe a half a paragraph on the implementation. So the strategic statements during week 6, then the implementation during week 7. There's some links here on how you write strategy and implementation. And then beyond that, the only thing that you need is a section for your references. So if there's any questions on this, please let me know.